Good morning, everyone. This is Melody Reels, 9:02 a.m. on a Thursday morning, and it's time to feature a quilt here at the Iowa Quilt Museum in Winterset, Iowa. Thank you for joining. Well, nobody's here yet, really. I'm just kind of talking to myself, but whatever. If you don't know, on Mondays, Sylvia Moody, who works in my gift shop, will take a picture of a block, post it on Monday and name that block. And then today, Thursday morning, I will reveal that block and we will talk about the quilt that block is on. So we're going to do that. But before we get started with that, last Saturday and Sunday, we had a gallery reception and a trunk show. Julie Silver was supposed to be here, but she was sick. So Marianne Fons and Mary Kay stepped in and helped out. And we did record both of those. So if you're interested in watching those, I am going to post those today. I just haven't, it's been a busy week, people, and I haven't had a time to upload those videos. So there's a video of the gallery reception, which we did a FaceTime with Julie Silver. So she is talking about her quilts, but virtually. So, and then we did video the trunk show as well. So it was kind of an unboxing and that was a lot of fun. So thank you to those who came. Thank you to those who donated on Saturday and Sunday. I really appreciate it. Share your stash sale. I'm going to keep talking about it. It's not until November 8th, but we are taking donations through October 10th. So I will take fabric, yarn, needles, notions, thread. I will take it, and then we will have a share your stash sale, and all that proceeds come here to the Iowa Quilt Museum. It's a great fundraiser for us. So thank you to all those that have already donated. People are mailing in items, driving hours to come down. If you come in and donate, I will give you a free pass and you can come right in and see the exhibit while you're here. I'm just so thankful that you are donating. We have some really good items, some really good fabric. I've seen some Tula Pink, Cafe. I have seen some different varieties of Moda come through. We have I can't remember what it's called, so I'm not even gonna try it. We've had some machinery come through to help with quilting. Maybe you know what that is. Anyway, and then thank you to those who have donated to the capital campaign. I'm fumbling, I'm so sorry. I have had donations come in from $10 to $100 to a lot more than that. And I just want to thank everybody that's has done that. And I will send an email with a little graphic that says I donated to the Iowa Quilt Museum. So for you to post on, to share on your social media and help inspire others to also donate. And I want to thank those that have shared it in their newsletters or on their social media pages. That's really been amazing. So thank you to those that have shared it, because it's working and we are still getting donations in, so I really appreciate it. Lastly, I posted some social media posts about Wyndham Fabrics and about the Iowa Quilt Museum, and it's pretty exciting. And if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I have Marianne Fons holding a little card and kind of talking about what's to come. Take a look at the fabric and reach out to your local quilt store if you're interested, and let them know that you're interested in having it, so they can order it now, and then it'll be in the shops in late spring, early summer. Really, really excited about it. So let's get together. Let's move on. Let's move on to today's quilt. So if you guessed Bear Paw quilt block, you would have been right. I have my little dive I did yesterday on that, and I will go over that. But let me switch you around so you can look at the whole quilt and not just the block. This is a sampler WCTU. Anybody want to guess what that means? WCTU quilt, dimensions 88 by 76 inches, time period circa 1880. It was found in Illinois. Maker is unknown. Get your quilt stories on your quilts. Get them labeled, everybody. Lender is Julie Silver. The four prominent letters here represent, you ready everybody? The Women's Christian Temperance Union. You probably already knew that. One of the largest and most influential women's group in the 19th century. The organization's colors were blue and white. Founded in Ohio in 1879, the Women's Christian Temperance Union's original purpose was to combat the threat of alcohol to the family and to society. Under the leadership of the brilliant Frances Willard, it expanded its platform to campaign for labor laws, prison reform, and women's suffrage. And you're probably wondering, non-quilters, why it's also called a sampler quilt. In each corner is a different quilt block, which makes it a sampler quilt. And then, so I did not do any deep dives on those 4 blocks. So I think I'm gonna save them for name that block at a different time, and because I have a lot of quilts in here. So anyway, I think that's what I'm gonna do. But let's talk about the Bear Paw quilt block. A mid-19th century design, likely evolved from the sawtooth pattern, which was on the quilt behind me, and was popularized by Western pioneers. While a popular legend suggests it was a code on the Underground Railroad guiding enslaved people to food and water by following bear trails, definitive proof for this quilting code is lacking. The block's actual history includes the appearance in Ohio in 1823 and various regions, and various regional names like Duckfoot in the Mud. So I did do a little dive into the Underground Railroad. So far, quilt blocks want to be, I will pull up information, and bloggers and video people on YouTube will say, this was part of the Underground Railroad. And then, and it sounds really amazing. And it sounds, we want that story, but there just isn't proof. So it says a widely known but unproven theory is that the Bear Paw block was used in the Underground Railroad. It's said to have signaled a safe path with the paw prints indicating a route marked for the bear trail, which would lead to food and water. The lack of proof. While the story is compelling, historical evidence confirming its use in the Underground Railroad code is absent. However, the legend remains a significant part of the quilt's folklore history. Many quilt historians consider the Underground Railroad code to be folklore rather than a historically accurate method of communication. A lack of evidence, artifacts, and contemporary accounts to sustain the legend has led scholars to believe it as a myth. It's hard because it was illegal, right, to help freedom seekers to freedom. And so if there was any documentation, if there was any proof, it would have been destroyed. So, to say definitively, we can't. And it's a great story, and it's sounds so positive and wonderful, but it's, there's just not enough proof for it. Let's talk about the multiple names of this block. Besides Bear Claw, there's Duck's Foot in the Mud, also Hand of Friendship, named used by Quakers in Pennsylvania, and Turkey Track, a name associated with Wisconsin Indian Trail and Forest Path. So that is this block here. If you're not a quilter and you don't know, we're talking about this this block in the middle. The sampler quilt with the blocks on the edges. Sampler quilts were roots in the 18th and 19th centuries, becoming a uniquely American innovation in the early 19th century, where quilters combined various block designs into a single grid to showcase skills, share patterns, and express individuality. Before the medallion quilts with a central design and surrounding borders, and more common in the US and Europe, samplers were served practical purposes such as allowing women to practice different patterns, or as a way to create gifts and commemorate community events, with the term sampler directly referencing the act of sampling different blocks. So there's a little backstory to that. And then let's talk a little bit about the Women Christian Temperance Union. The temperance movement advocating abstinence from alcohol became an important social cause championed by many women in the late 19th century. Early in the century, women had begun organizing for charitable work and social activism within the church affiliations. Subsequent generations adapted tried and true methods and organized the support of temperance, founding the Women's Christian Temperance Union in 1874. From the International Quilt Museum. Oh, I got that right up from the International Quilt Museum website. And there's a bunch more here. I will link that, the little write-up about Women's Christian Temperance Union to the International Quilt Museum. Because there's more. There's more about and everything that they served. Are they still in existence today? Yes. The Women's Christian Temperance Union is still active today, operating as an international organization that continues to advocate for temperance, educate the public about the consequences of alcohol and drug use, and lobby for social reforms like child protection and women's rights. While its membership declined after Prohibition was repealed, the WCTU has evolved and continued to exist in many states and countries worldwide. So there we go. We learned about the Bear Claw, Sampler Quilt, and Women's Christian Temperance Union. Let's take a closer look at this quilt, because I don't know if you could tell, but up in this little corner, do you see a little pink there? And there's a little pink up here, and there's a little pink in here. So let's check out what that is. Well, let's take a closer look at the Bear Paw quilt block. So what is it? It's a square, yeah. And so that does remind me of the sawtooth. The quilting on this. A little bit more of a scrappy quilt. Oh, here's the inside here. And if you could read that, God bless you. I am having a hard time. I think it's her name, Mrs. W.A. McCraig, maybe, and Pat, but their names. So it must be members of this group, this particular group. Whether they designed this block and that's why their name is in there, I have no idea. But I was just noticing this somebody put a little horseshoe in there. That's stitched in. How interesting. It's got a little wear to it. I guess we all would if we were over 100 and something years old. If you know this quilt block, don't say it. If you know that quilt block up there, don't say it. I will maybe take a photograph of each of these and we can play a little game with that as well. Here's a name right in here. Here's two names. Well, that looks like initials. Actually, I think that's WCTU. And then we have a sideways name here. Somebody's knocking at my door. They're just gonna have to wait. Here's a name down here in this block. You know, when people say, well, they're just quilts, especially, it's hard for me in my community even just to get people to come and, let's see if I can zoom in. Can I zoom in? Look at that fun fabric out there. It's not just quilts. This is history right here. You've got ladies' names. You've got documentation of their club. It's great. It's history and it's art. It's more than that. I love these white blocks have the squares, and then the blocks that have the fabric in them are, that are pieced, just go vertical in their quilting. All right, everybody. I filled your head full of knowledge this morning about the Women's Christian Union and the Sampler Quilt and the Bear Claw Quilt block. And you're crooked, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to turn you around. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining this morning. I look forward to seeing you next week. And we'll feature another quilt. Not that one. We've already done that one. You'll have to go back and look that one up. Thank you again for the donations. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your donations for the Sarah Stash Sale. And we will see you. Share your stash sale. We will see you next Thursday with a new quilt. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great, great weekend.